All right, the presidential campaigns are headed out west today with just 5 days until Election Day. Both Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump will be in Arizona and Nevada today. Harris is bringing her campaign message to Phoenix, Reno, and Vegas. And Trump will speak to voters in Henderson and Glendale after a rally in New Mexico. Now, the former president has looked to capitalize on a gaffe by President Biden with a photo op on a garbage truck in Wisconsin yesterday as he tried to move beyond a scandal over racist remarks by some of the speakers at his New York rally.
Crooked Joe Biden finally said what he and Kamala really think of our supporters. He called them garbage. My response to Joe and Kamala is very simple. You can't lead America if you don't love Americans.
CBS News campaign reporter Jake Rosen is following the Trump campaign from Washington. So, Jake, I guess the question for people is the race really going to come down to the rhetoric between both campaigns, or are the policy pitches that they are making going to move the needle with voters? The question that I think everybody keeps asking me as somebody who is a journalist and works in media is, can people really be undecided at this point, this late in the game? Apparently, there are still some undecideds out there.
Well, there are, and that's what the final campaign stops for both campaigns are all about. But when you go back to the rhetoric that we've seen between the comments at Madison Square Garden all throughout that day, not just by that comedian Tony Hinchcliffe, but also President Biden's comments the other night in that Latino fundraising event, you really see what voters don't want to hear, which is this back and forth that we've seen for the last, couple months, and going back politics, 8 or 9 years, right? About as we get later in the game, it becomes more about what people's semantics and what people say and do versus what they're promising. And you even saw the other night, Kamala Harris come out with an appeal to a bipartisan appeal on the ellipse, and it gets the distraction because of President Biden's comments. You see former President Trump start his closing arguments at Madison Square Garden before this big campaign swing he's doing today into the end of the campaign. And even that gets distracted, too, because of those comments. So we've seen some frustration from the Trump campaign about how their message has been lost, and I'm sure there's certainly some from the Harris campaign as well. But we'll see exactly if any of these candidates can get back on message today while they're campaigning out west.
I do know there's been some social media traffic about the video that we're showing there. It looked like the former president was stumbling as he walked into that garbage truck. The other thing, Jake, is that one of the things that I think is remarkable is that Kamala Harris distanced herself in a significant way on the tarmac yesterday when she was asked about the president's comments that some feel was directed at Trump supporters, where she said, which kind of reiterated what you pointed out, which was her message in front of the White House earlier this week, which is that she is not at all supportive of anyone who would denigrate someone because of their political views.
Yep, and we saw that, and then at the same time, right, Vlad, you saw the Trump campaign lean into what Biden said and continue to kind of take this story and stretch it out a couple of days, just like we've seen the Harris campaign attempt to do with those comments at Madison Square Garden. So again, in classic Trump campaign fashion, Donald Trump comes out on stage last night in Green Bay wearing that bright orange vest he wore. They did the photo op. We were there as CBS News reporters alongside the former president during that. And you saw them lean in and take time out of their day to double down and make that point to his supporters that to an everyman appeal that he can go get into a garbage truck and talk to the press and take them on, but also then to come out to a crowd in an arena full of people and off the bat say, what they said was wrong. And my message to the other side, in being President Biden and Kamala Harris, is I love you and they don't.
So I'm curious, Jake, has the campaign at all responded to the questions that people have about the former president going into that garbage truck where he appeared to stumble? Because I recall back in 2016, Hillary Clinton stumbled coming out of a vehicle, and that drove the news cycle for nearly a week where people wondered if she was okay. I'm curious if the Trump campaign has responded to this video that we're watching here.
We have not seen anything from them yet. Obviously, over the rest of the day, we'll see what else comes out. But again, it's a garbage truck door. An older man, I think we get reminded sometimes in moments like this that it is a 70-plus-year-old man opening a heavy door. And to stumble back is certainly something that, again, if you are not a fan of the former president or on the fence about voting, it is all about optics. We saw this consistently with President Biden and his behavior walking on and off stage and interacting with voters. So certainly there's more to be tuned there.
Oh, by the way, he bit a baby chicken yesterday, which was a little baby actually dressed up as a chicken. So optics do often count for these things. Jake Rosen, always great to have you, my friend. Thank you.
Thank you.